Welcome to 5 Minutes of Focus. On this episode, we talk about improving your return on time, ways to maximize your learning. So remove all distractions and just push play. We spend every day learning lessons, but do we maximize the effect of those lessons by integrating them into our lives? Return on time invested measures the value gained from time spent on an activity. Similar to financial ROI, but focused on qualitative and quantitative outcomes like productivity, satisfaction, learning, rather than money. The benefit we get from understanding ROTI is prioritization of tasks through assessing if the benefits, increased skills, better results, impact to process, outweigh the hours or the effort invested. This guides to better decisions for personal and professional growth and efficiency. But it isn't to be done haphazardly. We want to understand and focus our time in such a way that we maximize our return on our time. Basic learning principles that many of us forgot years ago are things like making mistakes that provide greater opportunity to maximize our return on time. Remember, you've paid the tuition, now get the learning. The power of reflection and experience is important, but only if we do it intentionally. The first step to maximizing your return on time is to understand how you like to learn, and then frankly, just go do that. Use the tried and true. For example, do you like to read, absorb, and then practice the skills that you learn? This is an important technique for return on time. Or are you more of a kinesthetic learner? In other words, trial and error. You like to get your hands dirty and really dig in there and understand how things work by trial and error, doing something and seeing what happens. Or perhaps you're more of a visual learner. You like to watch somebody sort of sit at the feet of the master, if you will, and understand how things get done and how the results and outcomes happen through the way this individual does something. Perhaps you're an auditory learner. This would be things like listening to podcasts, for example, and gleaning as much information and opportunity out of what you've heard to change behavior or to increase your skill. It's important to really understand which one of these four ways provides the maximum return for your time. But there are a few other ways that we can maximize our return on time and learn more in shorter duration. We need to understand our three centers of intelligence to really maximize our time and our return. For example, if we live in the emotional center of intelligence, often our preferred choice of learning is visually. We like to see things and then react to them and see how we react emotionally to what it is we're observing. Often people who are more in the head center or the mind center of intelligence, they tend to like to read and visualize what might happen prior to actually executing it. And often those of us who live in the intuitive center of intelligence, we like to watch things happen. We like to see what happens. We tend to be more kinesthetic. We like to get our hands dirty to understand the cause and effect of how we learn. So whether you tend to lean into the emotional center or the mind center or the gut center, understanding that will help us maximize our return for our time. It'll also help us understand how we like to learn most effectively. We have to remember two other principles, and these are important for us to maximize the return that we get for time spent on learning. The first one is persistence. We have this expression here at Focus Consulting Group, and we say an inch an hour or 2 feet per day, because sometimes learning requires failure, and we want to make sure that we don't give up, so we need to be persistent. The other thing that we want to keep in mind is that integration is the payoff. To really understand what we get for our time, we want to make sure that we're integrating our learning into new behaviors, new practices, new processes, whatever our objective is. So remember, persistence and integration really matter when it comes to maximizing your return. So, is it octopuses, octopi, or octopodes? Well, the correct pronunciation in English language is octopuses. Although the other two can also be correct, they're derived from Latin and Greek, respectively. But the most commonly used plural is octopuses. See, you've learned something already. Why did I choose this highly intelligent creature for my example about return on time? I thought it would be fun to add a little color to this vlog, both figuratively and literally. The octopus applies our principles deftly. Octopuses are visual learners. As a matter of fact, untrained octopuses learn tasks like choosing specific objects by watching others, even though they tend to be solitary creatures. So there's hope for you introverts out there that visual learning can still apply to you even if you tend to be an introvert. Auditory learning. Yes, octopuses can hear. It's not exactly like humans, but they learn about predators through sounds and vibrations in the water. Talk about maximizing your ROTI. It keeps them from getting attacked by larger predators and maybe getting eaten. Kinesthetic. We've all seen images of octopuses learning how to take tops off jars and escape their confinement. And they do this through experience, associating actions with rewards. So they've learned to maximize their ROTI. This includes exploration and play, which is another form of kinesthetic learning. They investigate their environment and objects through play, which helps them learn solutions and problems like opening jars. Memorization. Well, I don't think octopuses are very big readers, but they do use the same principle, which is memorization. They possess both short and long-term memory, allowing them to recall experiences from the past for extended periods of time. As a matter of fact, they can recognize human individuals and remember their interactions with them. So take a lesson from the octopus. If you really want to maximize your return on time, utilize all of these different ways to learn. If you really want to get to a higher level, for example, your efficient frontier, find the way that maximizes your time the best. You can increase your efficient frontier in learning similar to investing. The risk is not learning in a way that suits who you are and how you like to learn. So you improve your return by understanding how you learn and plan your development in that way. Your ROTI will be much higher and you will be much more satisfied. If you enjoyed this look at learning and increasing your return on time invested, come check us out. You can visit our website, you can check out our YouTube channel and subscribe, or you can connect with us on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.